So I got to preempt the next segment of BS Purge by wishing well wishes to all the people who are dealing with the fires in California. It's a very sad situation going on out there, and I just want to wish the best to, anybody out there. Hopefully you guys stay safe, okay? Because we're going to get into some stuff that got sent to me. I didn't know about California's water situation, and I think it's a really interesting conversation to have about how government regulation is not really part of what the people want. It's just about millionaires and money. That's really all it is. So I was sent a clip from, it was off of Instagram. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you. Hold up. All right, so we got.
All right.
You guys can see this, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna learn about the Resnicks. Do you guys got a minute to learn about the Resnicks?
I always love learning. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought. One billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system, seized in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage. Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state. The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco's worth of farmland. And nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products.
And I ain't never heard of them.
Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers.
I damn sure drink
It's
palm,
all
though.
under
I
one
don't
massive
drink that.
umbrella. The Wonderful Company, a privately owned company worth at least $5 billion. The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion. How were they able to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource?
Man, it's
this
a
is
whole
the
lot of
Classroom
money,
from More
boy.
Perfect Union, and today we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich.
All right, let's find out how the
Linda
Resnicks
is
got
a former
rich.
child actress, the
Tell
daughter
me
of
about
Jack
these
Harris, a
motherfuckers.
successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
It's a bunch of people we don't know.
At 19, she founded her own advertising
Yeah,
agency.
yo.
Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired
How do you go from
American
being a
Protection
janitor to
Services,
doing
a
that?
burglar
It's
alarm
crazy.
and security company.
He was a
Linda approached him
scientist,
about marketing
custodial
services for the
scientist.
company, and they hit it off, not knowing that one day they'd work together to take over California's water. The Lovebirds became business partners. They bought
Wait.
Teleflora, the flower
Wait,
delivery company,
pausing
and
real
the
quick. Just
Franklin
pause it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
When they say take over California's water, that is not a hard thing to do because California doesn't have water.
Well, the reason why they don't have water is because of this issue. There was regulation that they're about to get into that actually changed where the water is. It's not that they don't have water, it's where it is and where it was sent to. And that's what the problem is and why the damn fire hydrants didn't work when they
nice.
needed to. Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let me let them finish up talking
let's
about
go.
this.
Purveyors
Yeah.
of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and
Yeah, she
Stewart
was.
was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in
don't like this
1993,
music.
I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers. In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business.
They got
Linda
into
said,
them nuts.
"We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden. My husband should
them
be
nuts will change
canonized
your
for all
life."
the work
Yeah.
he's done." They started
Especially when you
branching
put
into other
all your
products,
eggs into them
almonds,
nuts. You know what I'm
pomegranates, citrus,
Especially
wine,
when you
and
hold 'em
acquiring
and they get
more and
valuable.
more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them
Everybody
water
wants
rights in
them.
the area.
So they
As
took
the
over some
Resnicks
land
were
and there was
building
some
their
water
empire,
there.
The state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money. California's natural water supply is very inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily. So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts. One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988.
And this
the
is where the
facility
fire,
was built
Kern,
with hundreds of millions
the
of
fires and
taxpayer
stuff
dollars,
started from.
which could have been a good thing.
With the
people of
Eden
California
fire,
would
which
have
one?
grew
Because there were a
water.
couple
A
fires.
lot
But there
of,
were two
basically
Californians
all of them.
thirstier
And let me
than the
let me
rest.
pause it real quick because they're going to get into the water systems there. But basically, the water systems were rerouted, and so things that should have had water in them did not have water in them to fight fires. And that's what all of this is about, is it was rerouted to agriculture so that they could make pomegranate juice and nuts.
I understand that, but however, there are I have word from people on the ground that actually live out there. That what you're saying is true in certain areas.
Right.
However, it is still hard to get water miles uphill in a pressure that's steady enough to fight a fire.
True.
Because the thing, remember, it was in the hills.
That is
you know
also
what I mean? It
true.
was up. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying that there are other factors.
And that's why we're having the conversation. There's multiple factors, but I think it's very important to know that some of this stuff was going on and kind of set it up for failure, because they got things going to the wrong direction, and without water, there's no water pressure. So there you go. There's no fire hydrants. I mean, it makes sense if you put it in those terms. But anyway, let me let this little dude with his hairstyle finish his little talk here, okay?
And they wanted more water. Linda and Stuart Resnick. And they had a lot of political power.
Yes, they
We'll
did.
get to that. In 1994, state
See, this
water
is
officials,
decades
water
old
infrastructure
problems,
contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California.
Okay, and what'd they
These
say?
groups, a mix of private companies and public agencies,
What'd they do?
rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators. The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians.
Now, you were out
and
there in the
great for
90s.
agriculture
Did you hear
billionaires.
about this in the 90s, Bravo? You were out there in the 90s, weren't you?
I was doing a lot of drugs.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to keep the clip going. Keep
The
the clip
original
going.
code
Keep the
included
clip
urban
going.
preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live, access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians would have to buy water from private companies, because they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement
messed
also
up, though.
loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on
It's
paper.
not great.
The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have.
How do you inflate
Today,
water?
5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And
the
How do you
Blow
sell?
really
Hold on a second. How do you sell water in a coastal
What are you
state?
talking about?
Like,
What are
I
you
mean, I
talking
get the water.
about?
No. Hold on a second, man. This goes back to my whole issue with the fact that sorry, I didn't mean to say that. The fact that we all live here. So why do you get to sell people water? Like, it's water. And
No. Here's the thing. It's not the water that's being sold. What's being sold is the convenience of you being able to go to a store and grab as much more water as you want. It's never been about the water, because think about it. Yes, they live right next to the water, but that water is salt water. There's desalinization, there's bottling, there's transportation, there's retailing, there's advertising. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. That's what business is about.
yeah, but
but
they
what I'm
got
trying to
water
say-
in the store, but they didn't have it in the fire hydrant.
Because it's so much easier to sell it in the store. You can actually count your money there, because what the problem is that the problem is that our whole country is based off of appeasing investors.
Okay.
The money line number got to go up. So we got to do whatever the fuck we got to do to make the investors happy, so the money line number goes up.
Okay.
And so that's where this goes. That's where this
All right,
goes.
well, let this
meeting
dude
changed
finish his little
ownership of the
thing.
Kern Water
They
Bank.
changed the
What once
ownership of the
belonged to
water
the
bank.
state was transferred to a few private water
And now some
contractors,
private people
one of
have
which
it.
was Westside Mutual,
Westside?
a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs
doesn't sound
Westside,
wonderful
Bill
at all.
Fillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank. Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money.
But the Resnicks
The
had it
new
right.
ownership,
Boy, they figured
combined
out
with the
something.
rules on paper and
Not
service
saying it was
good.
that during
Yeah, they
times of
figured that
drought,
one out.
The Resnicks could sell Kern water back to the state water systems. They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice. They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties.
That's crazy.
So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens
Chicanery.
find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
With philanthropy. The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research
And we go with the
institutions,
politicians.
which help them secure control over water systems, and even get more water and more taxpayer funding. One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel,
don't
a
know nothing about this
taxpayer-funded
stuff.
project which would send water from Northern California to Central, where the Resnicks farms are. They've spent
California
hundreds of
Delta
thousands of
Tunnel
dollars on state
sounds like
and
a
federal
Diddy
legislation
party.
and politicians who support the tunnel project. But
tunnel
their favorite
project.
politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come
Delta
in
Tunnel.
here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests.
So why doesn't anybody
A
say
quick
anything
look
about
through
the
bills she's
Resnicks?
sponsored shows
keep
several
talking
which
about
would
Gavin
direct money
Newsom.
to current adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart wrote a letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration, who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study. It returned the same results as the first one.
This just seems
Can't
like
buy
a lot of
science.
resource usage.
But the Resnicks have tried.
that
They are
doesn't help
among the
anybody
top
with their
donors
people.
to the University
These
of
people.
California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and
It's-
ecological studies.
That's
Hold on a
that's
second
only the
now.
money you no wait wait. You saying it seems like it's a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of activity involved in only helping these people.
Right.
That's the money you can trace. That's the money you can trace. There's no reason anybody would help them if they didn't get a slice. Period.
And that's what I'm
There's
saying.
no-
Okay, you make a good point because they
Right.
did mention politicians. So that's your Gavin Newsoms and all those guys because they're
Right.
trying to get rid of everybody out there now. California's mad at California right now. Like, and I understand why because the destruction out there is just freaking crazy. It's just freaking crazy. And so right now, that's what we have is these finger pointings going on about water supplies and who owns what. And at the end of the day, it's like, why is it privatized water supplies? It should just be a state thing and everybody should get the water. And like, I don't understand why we can't make adjustments to things like that have existed for like 20 years. It's like we're learning about it, but nobody's changing that. So what's the point of even telling anybody about it?
No. The point is of telling anybody about it is the same reason why I say very unpopular things. Is to get it in front of people so maybe they can spark the mind of the person that changes this shit. Because
Maybe.
I can't change it. I can't change. I know I can't change it by myself.
True.
You know what I mean?
You can't. But 217 people are hearing what you're saying right now.
And I hope
Exactly,
they hit
that's
the
the
like
point.
button.
Right.
Jeff Kendall, Jeff Kendall, I was hitting you back. Jeff Kendall, I appreciate you talking about total incompetence and corruption. I'm telling you, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? You and K Kaka. I can't. K-Cia. I'm sorry.
That's
K-Cia
Tam,
from
right?
Canada.
That's Tamra, man. Just say Tam. Tam, it's
I
good
don't
to
know.
see you. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're
It
feeling
is
better.
good to see you.
I'm not
Yeah.
on here like that, man. You know what I mean? I stay
it's
off
all
the
right.
internet a
It's
whole
all
lot,
right. It's
as
all
y'all
right.
know.
All right. Well, guys, I have to. Where's my other thing at? I don't have it. Never mind. I wanted to have the talk about the water situation because everybody keeps pointing fingers. And I don't know if it's like a resolvable thing or if it's just California's setup is screwed and there's nothing they can really do about it. So, what's the point of removing
Well,
Newsom and
my
Karen
thing-
Bass and all that?
And that's what I wanted to say. What are we gonna do? Put them in jail? But that doesn't change what's going on.
Right.
Like, we should be more focused on finding a solution now than who's in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, of course. That is my point. That is my point. Spark the mind to get the person to break this machine up. Break this goddamn machine up. Because that's the whole thing. That's why the people who are children right now, that's why they can't afford houses. It's because the people who are older than us set up the system to be that way. You know what I mean?
You're right,
So
you're
we
right.
need to find somebody to break this goddamn system, man. I know I can't do it on my own. And somebody who's younger than me, who's more savvy on this internet shit than I am, might be able to do it.
But that's the problem with the billionaire power. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna say, you know what? I'm not gonna sell pistachios anymore so you can have your water back. They're not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna sell my nuts anymore. Well, look, there was also the secondary part of the insurance companies dropping people's coverage. And so there's a lot of these different conflicts going on out there, which is it's just crazy in and of itself. So I'm gonna let the news talk their shit like I do, you know what I'm saying, about this insurance company thing, because I don't sell insurance. So I don't really know like what the setup is supposed to be.
Do you have transcripts of our old shows? Because I told you they were doing that in Florida, and now they're doing it in California. You know what I mean? I said it. I said it. I know that's what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
Well, I before you play it, I heard somebody say this. If in order for you to get a mortgage, you're required to have home insurance,
Right.
then all of that stuff should never ever go away because it's a requirement. You should be able to say, well, then I ain't getting the insurance. And still be able to get your house. They require you to have something, and then they don't protect you.
Right.
No, they will. You will be able to get your house. You will just have to pay a premium. They're still going to let you buy the house, but you're going to have to pay probably 10% more just to get the house.
Well, let's see what the insurance company situation is with these ladies. I don't know who they are, and this is News Nation. Is this reputable? Can I get a reputable thumbs up?
I don't know if it's as reputable as the
News
Triple
Nation.
N news, the nigga news now.
Well, let's see what they're talking about. Hold on.
Have dropped fire coverage from thousands of policies in the years leading up to this. Is this even legal, and how did this happen?
I like
These
her
are
voice.
for-profit insurance companies.
Sounds like she cares.
And so if they can't make a profit, they're going to leave
I'm
the area,
convinced.
and that's exactly what happened. And it's legal. They don't have to keep doing business in California.
Like it's legal? There's nothing we can do about
it? No, I mean, I run a nonprofit insurance company, so we don't do things like this. But a traditional insurance company is in it to make money.
What can homeowners and business owners?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to happen again and continue. What can homeowners and business owners do if their fire coverage was dropped? I mean, are they simply out of luck? Is there an appeals process?
This lady sounds like she cares so much.
There's not an official appeals process, but ultimately what's going to happen when, they're going to first try to get state assistance, FEMA assistance. But if they don't have insurance, they're not going to get insurance coverage. And even what we
you can't cover it after the fact. She's right.
In other natural disasters is that even when people have insurance, most of the time they don't have the insurance that they think they have, and they're underinsured. So even people that have insurance are going to be damaged by this. So what's their recourse? Eventually this is going to be lawsuits left and right, because people are going to have no other options, and insurance companies are going to end up settling these lawsuits, and the only people that are going to win are the attorneys that get to fight the lawsuits.
We just heard our Mills Hayes reporting on this. So we see California now, the state banning insurance companies from canceling or not renewing policies for homeowners
why should they have to
affected
do
by
that?
the wildfires for 1 year. But this doesn't help people who didn't have fire coverage or were underinsured or were dropped before this, right?
No, it's like calling the fire department after the house is already burned to the ground. It's too little, too late. This should have been handled before this, when that many thousands of people were dropped, in the last year. Something should have happened before this. Someone dropped the ball here. And even this moratorium is still, it's not what people think it is. Even though they're not allowed to leave the state, they're still underinsured. So even in these places that they still have to have the insurance, there's nothing that I've seen in the mandate that says you have to insure at a certain level, or, all of the things that are going to leave people high and dry, even if they had insurance. So for example, if you don't have a guaranteed replacement value in your insurance, and your valuation was done 100,
Bravo,
12
you
years
might
ago,
know more
15
about
years ago,
the
20 years ago,
homeowners'
then
values
your
and stuff like that than
valuation
I
has
would.
completely changed. So what it would cost to rebuild it today is completely
Yeah, I would.
different
I mean,
than what it would
I
have cost 15
I
years
get what they're
ago.
talking
And then
about.
you're
Though.
also going to be rebuilding with thousands of other people, and there's going to be a labor shortage. There's going to be a materials shortage, and some of
this
these
is
policies even have
fucked
a
up.
limitation that says you have to rebuild within a certain number of years in order to get your coverage at all. And when you're trying to rebuild along with thousands of other people, that's just not possible.
All right, guys. Well,
okay. Personal thing. Now here's where this is not the same thing, but this is what's affecting me. My insurance company, who I have multiple domiciles, multiple vehicles, multiple investment properties insured under, they're gonna drop my entire umbrella, everything, because I have a little bit of mold on my roof, moss on my roof. They're gonna drop me. Yeah, they're gonna drop me from moss on my roof from a picture that they took 2 years ago. So I have to climb on my roof. So now I have to climb on my roof and send them pictures that shit is not there, and show them a work order that relieve that issue. Otherwise, I'm uninsured for all of my shit. Insurance companies are evil, bro.
That's messed up, dude.
So this is the reason why I understand why these people are evil. They've been dropping people in Florida, and they're going to be dropping people in California. And think about it, they're going to the coast because even though Red Pill and Red Side don't believe in climate change, the insurance companies do.
See, this is definitely a different perspective on the after effects of what we're going to expect for the next, let's say, year or two, because you can't rebuild that kind of community and that much damage in a short amount of time. So it's going to take a lot of money. Insurance companies are not going to want to pay. A lot of people are not going to be able to just pay out of pocket for the repairs and then sue the insurance company. So we're going to have years of people being like literally homeless in this area. Like, I mean, it's a really sad story, but it's like, what can you do to stop the insurance companies? Like the lady said, it's too little too late. They already took the coverage off, so you can say, yeah, nobody else can do it, but everybody else that's already been stuffed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's just a sad situation, and there's nothing that we as the regular American people can really do to assist. We don't have any control over these insurance companies. And like you said, the insurance companies be on some bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
And here's the thing I want to say, yo. Paul Warner in the chat, you said, thank your local Democrat for this mess. I say, yo, stop name blaming and shaming, yo. It is not as simple as party. It's greed is what it is.
Yeah, it's policy and greed
what it is.
And those resnicks and the people like that. That's really where the problem is.
So all I'm saying is this. So and you can see it in the chat. I will say exactly what I said in the chat. I said, don't do that, Paul. We are all under the same boot.
Mm-hmm.
We are all under the same boot. They're squishing us.
And the people that have the real power are not in that power because of their party, like those resnicks. They didn't mention anything about their political party, but they did mention their political power. And their power comes from agriculture, which is a major export of that state. So they wrapped into something, and they don't even have to be honorable to a party. It's just whoever's in power. They pay that money, and they give them the regulations they want. And that's the part that we can't avoid. That happens behind closed doors.
Man. That's a problem because when I want to tell the truth, I offend people. And sometimes I'm saying it way too fast and harsh. But I'm going to say some truth right now. This whole thing is that I am also being affected by this insurance shit, even though it is not happening in my area. It definitely is. It's right there in your face. The coastal regions are being evaporated from insurance coverage. Either they're going to be priced out or they're just not going to give it to them. And even though this administration is going to help me, a business owner who does a whole bunch of other things, you know what I mean? Even though that's going to help me, I'm still in danger too. So the whole thing is that you need to not follow tribe. You need to follow truth. That's what
Well,
I'm saying.
speaking of truth, and I don't know 100%, but this was the one mention that the lady said in the video that I hadn't thought about because I'm not a homeowner myself. And she was saying that when the people got the coverage, it was based on the cost of the house and the materials of that house at the time when they got the coverage. So when you get coverage, if your house increases in value, your coverage doesn't increase. Because that's what sounds like the problem is they're going to pay on an amount that the house was 15, 20 years ago. And that house is a, $2 million house now, but they bought it for $500,000.
Because I thought your coverage goes up. But actually you could be right.
I mean, I don't know. My car insurance
Put it
coverage
this way,
don't
if it
change
works
when,
in
if I
their
put some stuff
favor,
on the car.
if it works in their favor, assume that's the case. Because they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is what we got for you. This is the best we can do.
Right. Well, I mean, we're going to have to see where it goes, man. I don't know. With the California situation, I don't live there. I've only visited a few times in my life. And they've always had some weird, atmospheric, smog and like this weird little issues. I guess it comes with the weather pattern over there. So they know they have fires. They should have been prepared better for it. But I guess now with this exposing everything, maybe they'll be better prepared the next time. That's
we got somebody. We got real answers. We got real answers in the chat. If they'll answer. Gray 59, former property and casualty insurance agent here. Do you have a question you want to pose out that he might respond to in the chat?
All right, well, we'll see what we got in the chat here because I'm about to move into our next topic, but I'll give them a hot second just because I like the conversation. I'm glad that we're having the conversation because I pay insurance for different stuff, but I realized, I was like, yeah, nothing goes up in value just because of inflation on insurance. I didn't know that, and that's what this lady was talking about in California. I don't know if that's the same for every state, but at least out there, it's like, so what's the point of having the coverage if the house doubles in value? You can't cover it if you have a total loss. So that's what's going on right now with most of those folks.
The fact that anything is mandatory is what pisses me off, to be totally honest with you. Because if I have to do something that's mandatory and then when I need that help that I'm mandatory paying for, and they say, no, you can't have it, or something as simple as what he was saying, we're going to stop all of your coverage because of some moss on your roof.
Right.
That's as fucking ridiculous. But I'm required to pay this, and you're not going to help me?
No, but here's the thing. It goes even